Ladies and gentlemen,
you're listening to the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS podcast with hosts John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. This is the Quick Pitch MLB DFS podcast, recording here for Thursday's 8-game main slate. James, 8 games again. We kind of consider this the wheelhouse slate. We have some pretty good pitching options for us at the top of the card, which is always nice. It's not like yesterday's 5-gamer where the chalk pitching, again, didn't really come through for us. So when we have more options, more chances to be correct.
Yeah, and pretty decent spots for some of the top guys, like Verlander against the Guardians, Alek Manoah against the Twins. Not like the best spots, but like opportunities for some upside against them. Some debuts. We'll see Noah Syndergaard make his debut, John. I think that'll be interesting. Jose Quintana make his debut for the Cards. Should be a fun stretch of baseball, and I'm looking forward to this 8-game slate.
Yeah, I'm fully with you on there. Any weather concerns that you're seeing here?
Yeah, Tampa Bay Detroit looks like the worst game. That could be a potential delay / even postponement, depending on how bad the weather gets in Detroit. There could be massive rainstorms hitting there during game time. Washington, Philly could be a delay. Atlanta, New York could be a delay. Houston, Cleveland delay possibility. Chicago, St. Louis delay possibility. But nothing seems too serious there. Only the Tampa Bay Detroit game looks to be in any type of concern, which is unfortunate because Jeffrey Springs' price against the Detroit Tigers is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, man, sneaky lefty matchup for Detroit. Even though Springs has been like semi-serviceable at times.
You know, I more so want to attack Springs' price tag than I want to attack.
Then attack Springs.
Then attack Springs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. You mentioned Verlander's got Cleveland here, 10-4, coming off a good outing, again, dominating Seattle, shutting out Oakland. Is he the Cy Young candidate for the American League right now? He's certainly in the conversation.
Yeah.
He is just crazy to see him previously miss 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? And come back and be like, yeah, I'm Justin F. and Verlander. This is what I do. I throw baseballs for a living. Even with the strikeout numbers not as high as we usually see for Verlander, just about a strikeout per inning. Usually he's a little bit better than that. Cleveland doesn't strike out a lot, so I don't know. I probably would expect to see similar outing like we kind of just saw from him. He probably sits in 5 to 6 strikeout range, but don't really imagine much damage going against him there at $10,400. 9K tier, you have 2 pitchers running up against one another. You have Kyle Wright against the Mets. You have Carrasco against Atlanta. And wedged in between that, you got Alek Manoah at $9,600 going up against Minnesota. How are you feeling about that group?
I think it's Verlander and McClanahan, probably 1-2, John. That's probably the race for the Cy Young in the American League. But I agree. I think Verlander's in a smash spot as leader in wins, leader in ERA this year. Across Major League Baseball, not just the AL. Kyle Wright is in not the best spot. He has been super good lately, even against those pesky Arizona Diamondbacks, but just 5 strikeouts against them. I think this is another team he may struggle with strikeouts in, and he doesn't typically pitch as deep into games as Verlander. Last 4 games, he has gone 6 or more innings. Maybe I should bite my tongue on that. I like Manoah in tournaments against the Twins. The Twins are a potent offense. Manoah's strikeouts have been pretty decent lately outside of the Detroit game, which I'm sure everyone predicted he'd blow up against the Twins, or against the Tigers, rather. I'd go Manoah. And then Carrasco has been pretty dominant, man. 0 earned runs over his last 18 2/3 innings. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in 5 straight starts. He's won 3 of them. His offense is scoring him runs. Typically 9,100. Doesn't feel great against the Braves, but for tournaments, he's already thrown 8 scoreless against Atlanta this year.
The strikeout bump is there.
And we know the strikeout. Yeah,
he's been filthy.
Yeah, he's been filthy. No, he hasn't allowed 3 earned runs in his last 5 starts. Like, it's super good to see, because this wasn't the guy earlier in the year. Like, not at all. Yeah, man. I like all of them at the top tier. Verlander's my cash game SP1, and I probably have Manoah and Carrasco over. But I've been undervaluing Wright for a little bit now, and he keeps, shooting me down. So I guess take that with a grain of salt. But I would go Verlander, Manoah, Carrasco, Wright at the top.
Yep, I'm with you. Next tier below, some interesting guys here. We've seen Kansas City. They obviously traded with Merrifield. They have kind of a younger lineup. Salvi Perez is still there hitting a ton of home runs. Pivetta has been pretty much awful for the better part of a month now. Basically, once July hit, he forgot how to. He is 8,200, but it is in Kansas City, a little bit of a better pitcher's park. Sonny Gray goes against Toronto. I don't really want to go there. I don't think I want to pay 8,700 for Cueto. I know that the numbers have been decent for him, but I just don't think he's that good of a pitcher. I've got to look into his FanGraph numbers a little bit here, but the last time I looked at them, which admittedly was a few starts ago, like his underlying numbers weren't fantastic. Yeah, okay, so he's got a 2.8 ERA. His expected ERA is around 4. His xFIP's 4.33. His K per 9's at 6.1. I don't know. It feels there's a come down a little bit on Johnny Cueto here. Is there anybody in this mid-range that you prefer? I know you mentioned Springs potentially, but now we have that weather issue. And do you like Cueto, Gray, Pivetta, Syndergaard making his debut? Anybody here?
I don't like anyone in the 8K tier, I think. But I would have some interest in Syndergaard just knowing how depressed the Washington lineup has become. And I do Springs. I think there's elite strikeout upside with Springs. I know he hasn't necessarily been dominant since his return from the injured list. He's also worked his pitch count back up. We've seen him on multiple occasions strike out a whole bunch of guys since he was stretched out to become a starter. And Detroit, yeah, they have been pesky against lefties this year, but Springs has elite strikeout stuff, as I mentioned. And the Tigers, even though they have hit lefties, they strike out against everybody. Spring 7,100 just feels too cheap. There's a guy that we saw peak almost at 10K. Syndergaard and Springs in this tier for me. I don't think anyone in the 8K tier is appealing at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really like much there. If we're going down under, I guess 67 Quintana, debut for St. Louis, big pitchers park, going up against the Cubs. Faced the Cubs plenty this season. Doesn't have a win because he was pitching for Pittsburgh. Now he's playing for St. Louis. 2.8 ERA, 12 strikeouts in 16 innings. This is a good opportunity for him to turn that 12.7 fantasy point per game average against Chicago and maybe get him an additional 4 points here and get him in a more viable position against the Cubs at 60.
Yeah, I think it's a very good spot. I don't have much to add. I think I'm in there, and there's not a lot else.
That's about it, though. I don't like anybody else. I don't know.
I don't know. You don't really need to. Espino gives up too much power. Drew Hutchison doesn't strike anybody out. Bubik has been better lately against some pretty good offenses. Toronto, Tampa Bay, New York Yankees. Like, those are the last 3 offenses he's faced, and he's given 16 fantasy points or more. Boston 16th in OPS over the last 2 weeks against lefties. I don't know if you want to go there, but Bubik's been good. So I guess I don't know. I don't think you have to. I think Quintana at 67.
You're gonna throw Bubik versus new look Red Sox lineup.
My apologies.
Tommy Pham hitting second. That's what you're.
I forgot Tommy Pham and the Jerker are added to the lineup here.
Yeah,
for the
Kevin
for the Red Sox.
Plawecki, noted left-handed killer.
Yeah, my bad.
Hosmer making his Red Sox debut in Kansas City.
Oh, true. That's a good point. That's an interesting one.
Anyways, joking aside, pitching sucks. Go to catch. Yep. You got Salvi at 5K. Pavetta's been trash.
Yeah.
Again, we don't like to spend often up at catcher, but if you're gonna, this is a spot to do it.
Both Casey catchers.
Yeah, both Casey catchers, both Chicago catchers. Yan Gomes against a lefty, certainly a guy that's going to be in play here. Grandal has a lefty matchup. Haas has a lefty matchup. I love that. Let's see, anybody else? Yachty's at 26.
I know so bad. You're just so bad.
Again, just throwing. He's 2,600.
I think Yan Gomes.
Do they still hit him like 6th?
Something
just like
around there, yeah.
Like legacy batting spot in the order. They just don't take it.
He does have the legacy batting spot. I would rather just play Yan Gomes 2,400. But okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a card,
100%.
If you're playing a card stack,
we talk about it all the time, but I'll just reiterate it. Even at his current age, what looks like 60 years old, but he's 35. I thought Yan Gomes was well older than that. Against lefties this year. Actually, you know what? Numbers have come down. He's probably had a couple bad games lately against lefties, so it's hard to splits. But we know historically Yan Gomes is a much better hitter against left-handed pitching. Last year had an 890 OPS, hit 300 against southpaw. I'm good with it. First base. Yeah, Goldie at the top against a lefty. I think we're going to look probably stack St. Louis where we can afford. Yeah, you get to use the cheap value play with Quintana to save you some money. We know lefties against Cardinals against the lefties, Arenado, Goldschmidt, Dylan Carlson, who they refused to trade for one. So obviously there's value there. Guys like that, you can stick it in the stack if you want to go there. So Goldie's up the top. I guess you would look at Vaughn. I guess definitely Vaughn and Abreu. Vaughn at 5K though. I probably want to play Abreu over him, right? Abreu homered last night. Homered in 2 straight games.
I would say yes, 3 or 4 too, like just to keep piling on to the Abreu bandwagon. Yeah, Andrew Vaughn, for as good as he's been this year, because he's been really good, 10 home runs and 30 or 31 extra base hits. Jose Abreu has 27 doubles alone. There's just more upside with Jose Abreu right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Got out to a slow start, but he's really started to come on. We go down a little bit lower. Again, a lot of tough spots here. Maybe Luke Voigt against Syndergaard, right? Noah hasn't
in
been
his
great.
debut. Is this his debut? Or yeah, this is his debut, right?
Yeah, his debut. You know he hits.
Yeah, only hits righties. Mancini, 3K, John, in the Astros lineup against Plesac.
Yeah. I wish he was in Houston though.
That's fair. At least he's not. Yeah, but at least he's not playing in. He's not playing in Baltimore. That's true. That's the key.
Nate Lowe still hitting.
Yep, Nate Lowe still hitting. The slate locks at 8:10. By the way.
I did. What? No.
The last game goes off at 8:10.
Oh, okay. What are we talking about here?
That's wonderful.
Is Espino better? Am I remembering that incorrectly?
Everyone hits him. He's just bad against power. He's just giving up so many home runs. So if you're about to say Derek Hall or Rhys Hoskins.
Rhys Hoskins at 4K.
I like
giving up almost 1.76 home runs per 9 innings.
Yeah, it's been if you look at the splits when he was a starter versus a reliever, he averaged 0.68 home runs per 9 as a reliever, 2.48 as a starter, John. Opponent's batting average 294 against him as a starter. He is not a starting pitcher.
He's got a 5.94 FIP as a starting pitcher this year.
Yeah, so. He is not 375 WOBA, 556 slug. I think the Phillies are easily one of the best stacks. And I think something I did a couple slates ago, and it's interesting when teams have 2 players at one position and no multi-position eligibility, kind of like the Whites. Play the contrarian option, right? I'm going to play Derek Hall over Hoskins. He's cheaper. I know Hoskins has like crazy upside, and it's not like Hoskins is expensive and whatnot, but more people will flock to him. I played Hall, and he went 3 for 4. And
righties have the better splits against them.
Righties do have the better split?
360 WOBA versus a 290 WOBA.
Okay, you're right. So maybe we do go Hoskins in this situation. If you want to be different, you could play Hall, but I agree with John. Maybe we go Hoskins with the split. You're right. 514 slug. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's righties on the bats. This brain still works every now and again. I have some good recall. We do this enough. Yeah. Second base. Top price guys to get Altuve at 54, Lau at 5K if that game goes off. Morel gets a lefty matchup. I don't know if we want to go there in St. Louis, though. Where are you looking in this top second base range?
I'm definitely interested in Altuve, Lowe, if Lowe's game goes off. I don't want to play Morel as long as he's hitting 9th at $4,800. Simeon could be interesting if that Johnny Cueto ride comes to a halt. Simeon homered yesterday, 2 home runs in the last 5. He's been a little better, hits in 6 of 7 games. I would be interested there. And then it's just, I don't know, John. It's a bad position.
Yeah, Josh Harrison, no upside really with him, but that games with 2 hits, gets the lefty matchup.
Couple home runs lately too.
Yeah, he's got one 6 games ago. It's possible.
Listen, I was trying to be like.
If Josh Harrison gets you 4 points, you're that's a win. All right.
Wow, how the mighty have fallen here, Sir Espinal.
Yeah, I know. He's
in the middle of his slump.
Here's the other thing is they traded for Merrifield too. He probably doesn't even play anymore.
Yeah, they probably line up. Bryson Stott for a Philly if you're doing a full Philly stack, you running a 5-man out there. Bryson Stott has some pop. I know you said the righties are better in the split against Espino. 2.5 home runs per 9 innings for Paolo Espino. Lefties could take him deep. Bryson Stott 3,300, especially the position stinks. It's quite bad outside the top options. Yeah, it's Harrison, Stott, and then if you're not spending up, I don't know where you're going.
I'm with you. Their second base is tough. I'd probably just do the spend down option because we want to spend up at third base.
Michael Massey, John, is the Royals called him up after they traded Merrifield.
Sure.
He had 2 hits. He's 2K against Pivetta.
Oh, you know what? That works. I will 100% punt with Michael Massey at second base because Pivetta's been bad. You mentioned they recalled him up, but when they were in Toronto, he had 3 hits and 7 at bats.
And then, so has looked pretty good. Hit 7th. So it's not like he's just, they're like, here, go hit 9th and good luck.
Yeah,
Run producing opportunities.
They're in full give the kids a chance mode. Yeah, I love that call. Massey at 2K is probably going to be in a lot of lineups today because of how bad that position is. So,
right.
Third base, Ramirez against Verlander. If you want to be different, no one's going to play that. I wouldn't make him your core third baseman. If you're making 20 lineups, maybe he's in 2 because you're just going to be different off the chalk there. I think Arenado is where the majority of ownership will lie in this one. Riley has been as hot as anybody. I know Carrasco's been pitching well, but Riley can take anybody deep at any time. And then Devers, listen, don't be afraid of Devers against lefties. We talk about it all the time. What is Chris Bubic?
Wait, do you want to know what Chris Bubic is?
Sure.
And this is a preview to my home run call here tonight, John.
Are we going with Devers?
Yeah, so Chris Bubic against left-handed hitters. You ready? 375 average, a 1,200 OPS, 492 WOBA allowed. Are those numbers good, John?
Feels okay.
Feels okay for the lefty batters, right?
Yeah.
Rafael Devers, 303 average, 363 WOBA this year.
That's what I'm saying. He hits lefties. Like he's that dude.
I'm actually just looking at things. The more I talk about it, the more I like Boston here.
Yeah, Bubic is terrible.
Just like with the way that now their lineup.
We didn't even mention Hosmer, I don't think, at first base, but he hits lefties. $3,200.
And his split this year has been drastic. I think it's a good call. I think that's actually a great call. His split this year, apparently he has a neck injury, by the way.
Yeah, the plane ride gave him a neck strain, probably.
Okay. So against lefties this year, Eric Hosmer, 330 batting average.
There you go. Listen, all coming up Hosmer, right? We'll see if he's in the lineup, I guess. They did release Jackie Bradley Jr. today, so lefty bat off the roster.
John, moment of silence for Jackie Bradley Jr.
I would have much rather have kept Hunter Renfroe. That being said, though, the minor leaguers that the Red Sox got in that trade, one of those dudes is like hitting like a ton of home runs right now. Maybe they stole a prospect there from Milwaukee. He was like a 3rd round pick a couple years ago for them. Anyways, Chapman against 5K, probably going to go overlooked here because everyone's going to play the guys above him. Moncada, still not worthy of $4,900. Don't know why he's there. You can go Bregman if you want, assuming he's back in the lineup. He is.
Yep, he took 1 day off. He took 1 day off. That was his. He took the 1 day where his wife had the baby and then was back in the lineup the next day.
Yep. So that works. I don't know. Wait, where are you going next? Do you go Miranda? Would you play Miranda against Manoah?
Nah, we go Alec Bohm.
Bohm.
You're talking about the righty split against Espino. It's Alec Bohm still just hitting everything, 442 average over his last 10 games.
Lario, if you want to go the Tiger stack. And listen, I told you all to play the Tigers against John Manaea. So
are you doubling down? Are you officially doubling down?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, they do one thing when it's hit lefties. And I put
they do one thing like
marks, so
partially.
I put in quotation marks.
Okay.
It's a podcast, so you can't see it, but I promise you, when I was saying that, I literally did the motion of quotation marks. But yeah, listen, they're not a good offense, but they have guys that can hit left-handed pitching. Yeah, listen, I'm willing to.
When there's a full moon and the stars are aligned, they hit left-handed pitching.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Over the last 2 weeks against left-handed pitching, Detroit ranks 8th in batting average. They rank 7th in slugging. They rank 7th in OPS and 7th in WOBA.
And 8th in ISO, too. So there's some power behind it, too. Okay, I'm with you. Look, I think that you can play Springs at 71, and I also think you can stack against them as well.
21st in strikeout rate, so they're not striking out.
That's interesting.
Sixth highest walk rate against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks.
Are those the two surprising? Those are probably the 2 most surprising numbers of all.
Over the last 30 days, if you want to even extend it further, Detroit, 5th highest walk rate. They have the 4th highest batting average. In terms of WOBA, they're 6th. In OPS, they're 6th. I told you, dude, they hit lefties. Can they hit lefties without their leader, Robbie Grossman, in the lineup? I guess we'll figure that out. All right, moving forward, because we spent a lot of time on third base for no reason. Jeimer at 3,200 is where I would probably go low. Shortstop. Give me your top guys.
Lindor against a lefty for sure. Seager against Cueto.
Bobby Witt's home run.
Bobby Witt against a righty. I only play Bobby Witt against right-handed pitching.
Yeah.
That's all he hits. So definitely Bobby Witt. Those are the three over 5K. We just spent all that time on
at 46.
And Javi Baez at 47. We just spent all that time on Detroit.
Right,
We can't forget their best hitter. Xander is raking. I feel like every time we look, Xander has been dominating. He's also hitting 400 against lefties this year.
Yeah, no, he's looking for that contract.
Xander, yeah, he will.
CJ Abrams, 2,200, never mind, he was optioned. Why would
they're apparently gonna start him in AAA and then call him up?
Whatever.
Paul DeJong,
yeah,
3,200. He's been terrible once again, but home run upside there.
Sure. Anybody else?
You can play Tommy Edman, conversely to DeJong if you want.
Okay. Outfield.
Jordan,
yeah, big time. Lewis Robert, fine for me.
Yep, Schwartz for sure in tournaments.
Yeah. Pham at 49 feels very expensive.
He's projected to lead. Is he going to lead off? He's going to lead off, right?
Probably going to lead off.
He started in left field, and I assume against the lefty, he hits lefties really well.
I don't think they're going to do Durand. Probably does lead off.
Dude, that top four of a Boston stack is looking mighty good because their numbers against lefties are...
So JD Martinez at 43 is nice. Tommy Pham at 49, though. I don't really want much to do
That's the Brandon Drury, Josh Bell thing last night. It's like Brandon Drury's too high. What does he do? Hits a grand slam. That's because he's the best player in the league, but we were like, oh, no, why would we not play Josh Bell at 48? Well, that's because... But when the numbers are there, the numbers are there.
It's true. Aloy, back-to-back 3-hit games.
Yeah, man, he's feeling it.
In the last 3 games, so...
Yeah, he's feeling it. I think White Sox are a very appealing stack.
We mentioned Dylan Carlson gets that lefty matchup. He homered the other day, so can rock that one if you want.
Castellanos homered 3,200, John.
Yeah.
Starting to heat up. Big time heat up. 3,200.
Aledmus, if he keeps putting him in the lineup, he's raking right now.
Yeah. It's a better lefty split, but he's hitting everybody, so...
Yeah, hitting everybody. You mentioned Castellanos searches now, right?
Castellanos, 3,200, yep.
Let's see.
There will be people under...
Yeah, Josh Lowe's got a really nice hit streak going right now. It's 8 games, I think. Never mind. It looks like they optioned him down after the trade deadline. What do I know? Wow.
David Peralta, new Tampa Bay Ray, $3,200.
Yeah, that's why they sent him down. They traded for Peralta. Which is weird to send a guy down who literally has an 8-game hitting streak going and had back-to-back 2-hit games.
And they also traded for Jose Siri and kept him up instead of Josh Lowe.
Sure.
Which is...
Verdugo at 3K. You mentioned the lefty numbers for against Bubic. Is there Duran 29 if he's in the lineup? I imagine he would be. Anybody else for you?
Nope.
All right, give me your home run then. You're on Devers, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's see. I got mine correct yesterday.
You're getting yours correct every day. You're just swimming in dough.
I'm pretty good with it. I agree with you. Give me Arenado today, 5,400. Oh, no. You go your third. Actually, you know what? You're using Devers. I'll go Goldschmidt.
Okay.
I'll give the faithful here an opportunity to play both of our home run calls in the same night. So.
Well, you could if you're playing FanDuel. You could, but you're appealing to the masses here, John.
Yep, 100%. You have Devers. I got Goldschmidt. That's the podcast today. If you have any questions, get us in Discord, and we'll catch you guys later.